Good afternoon. Is it morning yet? Still morning. Today I'm fixing cars. Oof, it's a hot day. And I want us to talk quickly about a few misconceptions on regulation of the church. Some of you have made inquiries, and maybe you don't know what you want. Maybe it's possible that much as we have a common understanding of what the general problem is, we don't have an understanding of what the solution could be. Somebody sent us a beautiful clip to drive home a point of this foolish preacher who's threatening people with death if they don't stop giving. And he or she believes that the regulation of the church will stop such practices. But that's a very naive view. I've always said the only people who can work the false prophets out of business are their followers. And that decision lies within the domain of one's constitutional rights. Now, you may find it disgusting that somebody insists that while they preach, people lift them up. But those are adults. And somebody said to me, yeah, but they are bewitched. But witchcraft is not a crime. Witchcraft is sin, but it's not a crime. But we see witchcraft displayed in everyday life. For an example, some of us believe that some people within the ANC are bewitched. How could they have such blind loyalty to a movement that so tramples underfoot the laws of sanity and integrity? Some of us think that, gee, you must be something wrong with you as a black man to belong to the DA. You must be bewitched somehow. Some would think, oh, gee, how can anybody follow somebody as radical as Malema? Those decisions lie within people's rights in terms of freedom of association, freedom of conscience. Don't forget the irony and the hypocrisy lies in the fact that when you go, I grew up in a township where there were a lot of witch doctors, or you call them sangomas, traditionally, whatever, it's just a matter of semantics. When you look at the initiation process, you look at the inhumane thing they do there, the inhumane things they do there. And if you look at how they slit the chickens, and while they're alive, these people suck their blood there, that's an abuse. Or is it a right they have to practice that within the context of freedom of choice and freedom of conscience? The truth of the matter is, it does not matter what I think about alcohol. Don't forget that alcohol, where I sit, is sin. Do not look at wine when it's read, the Bible says. But alcohol consumption is not crime. So from where I sit, when I look across the street from the church in Soweto, and around the corner from the church in Bloemfontein are very famous pubs and taverns. To me, that's abusive. I don't understand how people send their kids to schools in Bloemfontein, and all they do is spend all the weekends and evenings in taverns and pubs. But you see, that falls within the constitutional definition of freedom of association. It does not matter how you personally feel about a false prophet. If no crime is committed, the only people who can close that ministry down are the people who go there. Let's go back to that video where this guy made to believe he's comfort dude. I'm not sure. I'm saying this under correction. Those people are consenting adults, way over a period of non-responsibility or accountability legally. They have normal jobs. They are politicians. They are intellectuals. They are students. They are scholars. I hope you know the difference between a student and a scholar. Those people run corporations, they run societies, they run government ministry departments. If Sunday after Sunday, they keep going to that church where the pastor insists that he can't preach unless he tramples on people, there is nothing the law can do. We can't say on their behalf there's been a violation of their rights. Now, anybody who believes that people who make people eat grass, snakes and all this violating the constitutional right has never gone for massaging. Those people trample on you, they stamp on you, they squeeze you, you scream but you are paying. Now imagine if we were to set the rule that says wherever pain is inflicted, people should stop going. We should not even go to consult a doctor. What about the operation table there? Don't they inflict pain on you? What about when you go to extract your tooth? The truth is, consenting adults have a right, a constitutional right, regarding who they patronize, where they belong, what they believe in, and what they practice. From where I sit, the whole process of initiation into witchcraft or traditional healership is barbaric. But that's my personal opinion. Where the witch doctor sits, Christianity is completely barbaric. You understand what I'm saying to you? There are two terms you must understand, that, and because I'm black, I don't know how to pronounce them. Sadism and masochism. Masochism. Oh, my sons always laugh at me. A masochist is somebody who enjoys receiving pain. A sadist is someone who enjoys giving it. Now, you go to these strip clubs. There are people who get at the door there and they pay. Your fathers, your brothers, they pay there to get tied up in chains, to be beaten in whips, to have wild sex. While I find that repulsive, and while from where I sit, I don't patronize strip clubs. Don't even ask me how I know what happens in there. I'll shock you. But where I sit, there's a violation of human rights. How do they tie them up in chains? How do they whip them? Why do they scream so much? And they have sex in the noise there and there's this. But it's their right. And the only people who can close such a joint down are the patrons. Everybody sits in the place where they see whatever somebody else does from a different perspective than the people subjected to it. Now, if your understanding of regulation is, the day we regulate church, there'll be inspectors. Ray McCully and company go from church to church, sit there and have to approve on what you preach, how you run church. Then you are misguided. Let me tell you now, I've always said it and I said it now. Politics is the most regulated industry in human society. But look, Mokhowo Commission, Zondo Commission, Zondi Commission, the stuff coming up there is disgusting. Anybody who is naive enough to think that regulation, self-regulation, peer review, anybody who's naive enough to think that that is going to solve whatever perceived or actual problems that are in the church is naive indeed, because if it did that, the very lawmakers should be leading by example. Look at the chaos in parliament. Look at the scandals coming up. Look at the conspiracy and actual theories that are dominating our politics. And those are highly regulated industries. Is there any church on earth now more regulated, self-regulated than the Roman Catholic Church? Yet for a period of 18 centuries, 1800 years, 18 centuries, there's pedophilia, homosexuality, all sorts of things happening there. Regulation does not change people. Don't be naive. At the heart of this drive by government to regulate us, they would never care if we ate snakes or ate grass. At the heart of it, they would never care if the religion was commercialized or not. They want to silence the Christian voice that keeps drawing people to the gospel of Jesus Christ. Right now, when this commission started investigating, they were concerned about the commercialization of religion. If they are truly concerned about the commercialization of religion, why are they not taking on Islam through their halal scam? Right now, if they are concerned about the human rights of girls, of boys, why are they not taking on Islam regarding genital mutilation? Women under Islam, documentary after documentary have come forth. They sort of circumcise them. Genital mutilation has been happening for centuries without any anesthetic. If they are concerned, why don't they challenge those? They will never touch Islam because Muslims will never allow anybody near Islam. But Christians are naive enough to be captured. I don't even condone any practice within Islam. All I'm saying is, if the intent is honest, why is there no element of objectivity? Lastly, let me make this observation. Anybody who sees problems in the church and calls for regulation has not clearly defined what the problem and the solution are. You see, you want us to legislate against sin. And as soon as we legislate against sin, we are no different from Muslims with the Sharia law. When Muslims find somebody sinning, they kill them. They cut their hands off. So they've legislated against. So that means we take religious conviction, throw it into the legal system, and anybody who violates that conviction is dealt with criminally. You can't legislate against sin. And we said to you, immorality and where we said immorality, homosexuality, all these things are sin, but they are not crime. And once you start to be muddled up in your mind regarding the definition of what is crime and what is sin, you are messed up completely. So my response to those who say, in the face of all these people who insist on being carried while they preached, people calling people so rudely to come and give money, in the face of all this, you still say no to regulation. Yes, I still say no to regulation, because consenting adults patronize those churches and they are happy to be treated as. It happens. I've been in conferences where people literally rob people of their money, opening the Bible and all that. But those people keep going back over and over and over again. Let me tell you, don't be messed up in terms of a definition of religion as a philosophy and religious organizations as institutions. When you talk of institutional regulation, we already are regulated. Institutionally, the church, as any non-governmental organization, is regulated. If there is any violation of tax, bring the tax man. If there's any violation of customs, bring a SARS. If there's any violation of home affairs, and bring. Institutionally, the religion as expressed through institutional relationships. Don't forget, not all of us are institutionalized. Is already regulated. Is the philosophical aspect of religion, where you say to me, for me to share my faith, I must have a theological qualification. Then you're trampling on my philosophy and my religious conviction. I don't need to be a registered soccer coach to make comment on a soccer match. So why do I need to be a licensed theologian to make a religious comment? We need to discuss those issues. And we're meeting on the 21st of March in Ekurhuleni there to bring clarity. We say no to regulation to any extent. Call it peer review, call it self-regulation. What we are not. We say no. Leave religion as is. Everybody is entitled to the association, to conviction, to speech. And we say yes, that those rights cannot be limitless. Yes, our thinking is as soon as they translate into criminal activity, there must be a limit set to it. But not this other side. It is not crime, it's not sin for me to gather 10, 15 people who believe what I believe in and to preach to them and to mentor them. Jesus never chose qualified theologians, and there were many there. Jesus went for fishermen, people completely unqualified to tell others about the law and God. It was deliberate. He went to the receiver of revenue, got Levi, called him to preach. He went to the sea there, called Peter, Andrew, James, John, called them to preach. Because what we believe in cannot be regulated intellectually and institutionally. Think about these things, and we pray that God shows his sense. Meet you on the 21st of March in Ekurhuleni.